Now this paper, just bring it little inside like this and say Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali.
Try again, because this is the non-violence means of doing pataka. Yes. So when we have any guests coming today to do any speeches, we say them Happy Diwali.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a video also going around of this.
With this, there are some changes in the agenda. May I request all the members to keep a note of it. For evaluator speaker number 2, it is Mahesh Prabhu. For evaluator speaker 3, it is Nimesh Lokhandwala. And considering the time, may I request the forum to approve the time extension to do today's meeting from 9:09 to 9:30. So may I request everyone to please accept with a vote of hands. Yes, extension of the time till 9. Thank you. With this, let's proceed with the session. Generally, for the benefit of the guest, the Toastmasters meeting is divided into 4 sessions. First is the prepared speech session. Secondly, evaluation of the prepared speeches. Third is table topic, which is an extempore speech. And lastly is an evaluation of the entire meeting, which is having grammarian and the general evaluation. So these are the 4 sessions which we will see during the course of the meeting. And before we proceed, we have something called as word of the day, where we encourage the members to use during the meeting and to also practice it in their daily life. To introduce the word of the day, we have our Toastmaster Mr. Mahesh Agarwal, who is working with Sharaf Shipping Agency as a General Manager Overseas Network. He is living in Dubai for the last 24 years with his wife and 2 children. Please welcome with a big round of applause our World Master colleague Mahesh Agarwal.
Good evening, fellow Toastmaster.
Good evening.
Good evening. Toastmaster of the day, President of our Toastmasters Club, and all the distinguished guests. Word of the day today is Fugalman. Fugalman means a man who is the head of a group, a company, or a political party. In short, it can be a leader or it can be a manager. Fugalman, this word is derived from the military background. It was used in the olden times to say Fugalman is a person who stands in front of the military company during the drill and who is followed as a role model. So this is where the word Fugalman comes from. The Fugalman word has its origin in the German. It's called Flugelmann, and it can be used in the current status also. So to give you an example of how we do use Fugalman, we can say Virat Kohli was a Fugalman of Indian cricket team who won the first cricket match against South Africa in the Freedom Trophy. This can be one of the examples. I am sure you people will have more examples to give. I will encourage if any one of you can say some more. Please.
Each and every member who have gathered in this hall is in their own capacity is a Fugalman.
Lord Rama is the Fugalman in Ramayana.
Yes. Anyone else? Please.
In this day and age, parents are no longer Fugalmen for their children.
Okay. Anybody else wants to try? Anyone from the guest? Fugalman? Yes, please.
Just would add to Kamlesh. Every member of a family is a Fugalman of their family.
Like too many cooks spoil the broth. So there are many organizations that have too many Fugalmen.
Before we proceed with the next part of the session, there is a small activity. Please give a big round of applause. which you have to do, you have to have a pair of your friend. You will be given 1 minute to say about something about yourself to him, and your friend will be saying something about him. So what you are going to do is that you are going to introduce each other. So choose your friend. If the seats have 3, then maybe it is 2 like this, so we can do. There are papers given in front of you and the pencil given in front of you. So for the first 1 minute, you turn to your friend on this side, and the other you turn on the friend. Your time starts now. Please interact, and then please make a note so that you can
Not meant for us.
what you are going to say is your name, about yourself.
You remember my name?
Yeah,
This introduction will be required during the meeting.
Ravindra Bhai. I am very poor rememberer.
Yeah, even I am also. I know.
Now I am overcoming that. See, I told you your name after 1 month.
That you remember because of my
Unique name. So. Ravindra Bhai. I am from Mangalore, Mangalapuram. You are from which part of Kerala?
After 1 minute, please swap and then take the introduction with the other partner. So now you take the introduction with the other partner, please, and keep a note of it because you will be asked to introduce during the sessions. Once you are done, please raise your thumb so that we can proceed. All done? Yes. All done?
Yes.
With this, we start with the main session. This session is called prepared speeches. May I know how many are the guests today so that I can help them? Great. You have never been Toastmasters? So this is the first session, which is called a prepared speech session. Generally, the speakers give at least 15 days to 1 month to prepare a speech which is of around 7 minutes. The speech is checked and mentored. Thank you, sir. Can we have a big round of applause for our
Enjoy being there. Look forward to being there.
Yeah, so these prepared speeches are prepared after a lot of mentoring and coaching. And today we have our first speaker, Jayashree Bhatt. May I ask her partner to introduce Jayashree Bhatt? Who is the partner? Yeah, so you will introduce her in maximum 30 seconds.
Jayashree is doing a project 3. I have seen Jayashree delivering the icebreaker project and project 2. And she was saying, I'm a bit nervous. I said, there is no reason for you to feel nervous just because I have seen your earlier projects. You are a good speaker. All the best to you, Jayashree.
Thank you. Before bringing the speaker on the podium, may I request the evaluator for Jayashree, Mr. Kamlesh Manik, to give the speech objectives.
Jayashree is attempting project 3, and the objectives of project 3 are: select a speech topic and determine its general and specific purpose, organize the speech in a manner that best achieves these purposes, ensure the beginning, body and conclusion reinforce the purposes, project sincerity and conviction, and control any nervousness you may feel. Strive not to use notes. The time given is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best.
Please welcome our speaker, Jayashree, with a big round of applause.
Famous English poet Mr. Coleridge had written a poem, Rhyme of an Ancient Mariner. Water, water everywhere, Nora and all the birds did sing. Water, water everywhere, nor a drop to drink. The poem describes the story of a voyager who finds scarcity of water amongst its abundance. Mr. President, Toastmaster of the day and my fellow Toastmaster, my today's topic is water conservation. 80% of our earth is having water and human body is having 66% water. Even the trees that surround us are having 75% water. If we have got so much abundance of water, then why we need to conserve it? The greatest tragedy is we have got only 1% of the earth's water as drinking water, and our population continues to grow. So we have either to reduce the use of water, or we have to find ways to recycle the wastewater for different purposes. So what is water conservation? Water conservation refers to reducing the use of water and recycling of wastewater into different uses like cleaning, manufacturing and agricultural irrigation. Friends, we are living in UAE and UAE's ecological footprint per capita is highest in the world. One of the major contributors is the high consumption of water. And you know, our almost 100% of drinking water is desalinated through a very energy intensive process which releases carbon dioxide and other pollutants into air and which accelerates global warming and have long term impact on our health, our food and other basic needs. So three major areas of water wastage in UAE are: one is running waters while brushing teeth, shaving or washing dishes, which waste around 34 liters per day per person. Second area is washing dishes, that waste 38 liters per person. And third and major area is washing car with hosepipe instead of a bucket and phone, which wastes 180 liters per wash. So if households decides to take conservative measures on these three areas alone, then we can reduce around 46% of water wastage without noticing any change in our lifestyle or comfort. And that will save around 410 billion liters of water per year and reduction in our utility bills. There are 5 easy ways to remember water saving tips with the spelling of water. W stands for wash full load of laundry and dishes. One of the major water waster with dishes is we are generally pre-rinsing the dishes before putting into dishwasher. A dishwasher is designed to clean the dirty dishes. A stands for always turn off running water. While this we can do while brushing teeth or shaving or washing dishes. T stands for take shorter showers. We can either if we are using the bathtub, then we can fill bathtub with 1/3. And if we are using shower, then we can reduce time by 2 to 3 minutes. E stands for eliminate all leaks. A drippy faucet wastes 9.5 gallons of liter per day. And a leaky toilet wastes 15 gallons of water per day. And friends, it is very easy to look for the leakage of a toilet. We just have to put some food color or instant coffee into toilet tank and leave it for 30 minutes. If we can see any color in the toilet bowl, then there is a leakage. We can simply adjust the flushing mechanism and we can save the leakage. R stands for reduce flow of water from your toilet and from your shower heads. Friends, toilet uses old model of toilets are using 2.5 gallons per flush. We can replace it with new models which can use only 1.5 gallons per flask. And all the type of showerhead uses 2.5 gallons per minute. We can also replace there with new showerhead which are using hardly 1.3 to 1.5 gallons per minute. There are other long-term water saving tricks, like we can replace our dishwasher and with the new dishwasher which can use 4 to 7 gallons of water per load. We can also replace our old washing machine with new one which uses 28 gallons of water per load. And when we are purchasing these new appliances, we can look for Energy Star label. We can also have one on-demand toilet and tankless water heater. And as we can, as said earlier, we can replace our toilets and showerheads. Friends, water saving is not more about the buying new appliances. It is more about changing your habits. We all should take responsibility to save water, whether there is drought or not. Remember, all drought counts. Water everywhere, not a drop to drink. Water, a priceless treasure. Save it with pleasure. We may go extinct if you don't turn off the sink. You will conserve water, then we can conserve life. You have the power to take the short shower. Zap the tech.
Good use of acronym in this speech titled Water Conservation. Good research done. A big round of applause for Yashvi. May I request the members to use a perforated sheet now to give the written feedback to the speaker. The sergeant and arms will collect the feedback and give it to the speaker. If it is done, please raise your hand. Thank you. Our next speaker, Mr. Anil, Toastmaster Anil, is delivering his P8 speech. Before I call the speaker, may I request his partner to introduce him? Anil? Not the speech objective, the partner to introduce him. Partner.
Yeah, sorry. Whatever I told you about myself. He is working here in a company since last more than 10 years, and he's having I know he's a very good asset to that company.
That's a good one.
He's working 10 years, that means the that's all I have. So I invite him to
Dharma.
Thank you. Just to add on the introduction, Anil has promised that because of his nature of being IT savvy, he will teach our members Excel, digital marketing, cloud computing, free of cost. Please give a big round of applause to him. Before I call the speaker, may I request our evaluator, Toastmaster Mahesh Prabhu, to please read the objectives of the speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Good evening once again, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My target speaker, Toastmaster Anil, is attempting Project 8 from Competent Communicator Manual. Get comfortable with visual aids. And the speech objectives are: select visual aids that are appropriate for your message and the audience. Use visual aids correctly with ease and confidence. Time 5 to 7 minutes. All the best.
Please welcome Toastmaster Anil with his speech titled Cloud Computing. Cloud Computing.
How many of you use these websites or the networking sites we use every day? So everybody is using.
Facebook.
How many of you know what is the technology they are using behind for serving all the users?
Cloud computing.
I don't. Okay. Toastmasters of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guest President, good evening.
Good evening.
The technology they use behind the scenes is called as cloud computing. Cloud computing is nothing but it's a model where IT capabilities are pooled together and provided as a service over the internet to the multiple users. That is the definition given by National Institute of Standardization and Technology. That's the definition. And in the term cloud computing, cloud is used as a metaphor for the internet. It's not the real cloud we see outside. It's just a metaphor used for the internet term. And what are the essential characteristics of cloud? These also are defined by the NIST and in the definition. And to meet in our offices, we use a lot of computers and we have networking in the offices. But all this is not a cloud computing. To meet the cloud computing standards, it needs to satisfy these essential characteristics to call it as a cloud computing. The first one is on-demand self-service. In a cloud computing, the service provider, there are service providers and you have the tenants and you have the clients or the users. On-demand self-service means if I'm a user, if I need to have a cloud computing, I should be able to demand the service on a demanding basis and should be provided by the service provider instantaneously or spontaneously within a short period of time. And rapid elasticity is another one essential characteristic. Rapid elasticity means, say, last 3 months back, one of my friends started a startup company, and he want to have his users access to the ERP software, but it's a startup company. He cannot have the servers and maintain the servers and maintain the IT people and all these things. And so to do that, he's chosen the cloud computing. The benefit of cloud computing, going to cloud computing, is that he can start with a minimum requirement, and if you want, he can expand it, and if you don't want, he can reduce the resources. That is the rapid elasticity. That also can be done within a short time. And another one is the broad area network. The networking which we see in offices is accessible only within the office. But in case of cloud computing, it should be accessible from anywhere, anytime, from the sitting anywhere in the office or anywhere in the home or anywhere. That's the broad area network. And another one is the resource pooling. Cloud computing or the computers has the 3 features, which is the storage. We need the storage, and we need the processing capacity, and also we need the networking to operate the computer. In resource pooling, the service provider will pool the resources from all these providers, whether it is a storage or a processors or from the platform providers. He will pool the resources and he will give to the end users. That is the resource pooling. Another one is the measured service. So to qualify as a cloud computing, the service provider or the service should be measured or monitored and should be paid on a per user basis. These are the essential characteristics. And we have other common characteristics which are common to the cloud computing. And if we see the cloud computing, the models of delivery in cloud computing is software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. We'll go into that detail. Infrastructure as a service. So these are the three service models where the user can have it. In the infrastructure as a service, user will get only the equipment, the hardware, which is the CPU or the storage or all these things. But the vendor, the customer has to provide for the platform to run this equipment. And in case of platform as a service, the user will get, apart from the equipment, apart from the infrastructure, user will get as the platform to run his applications. And in case of software as a service, the user will get, apart from the infrastructure, platform, and also he'll get a software which directly user can use. The best example for software as a service is the ERP hosting done by the IBM or Microsoft or Microsoft Office 365 online. These are the best examples of software as a service. And the advantages of cloud computing is the productivity. It will increase the productivity because users can access, the employees can access it from anywhere. And the best option is the cost, because it will reduce the infrastructure cost and the maintenance cost of the equipment of the IT infrastructure. This is one of the advantages of having a cloud computing. And then accessibility, you can access the application from anywhere at any time. And the disadvantages is the data loss or the security. In case of if you host the application on the cloud, you may feel that data might be lost or the data might be hacked by the other users. Or the company which is hosting the cloud computing, they might steal the data and sell it to the competitors. These are the risks in the cloud computing. And also the lack of control, the general lack of control, you don't have the physical access to the equipment because the equipment is hosted or equipment is located at some other place, and the privacy of the data. So these are the typical disadvantages of the cloud computing. So cloud computing is a good thing, but it has to be, when you are going to the cloud computing, you have to consider all these risk factors, and then you can go into the cloud computing. Thank you, and over to you.
Is he not a Fugleman in cloud computing? Yes. Big round of applause for him. 1 minute to give the written feedback, and also the previous feedback which is passed to Jayashree. Use the perforation sheet to give the written feedback.
Thank you, baby. You want?
Can I see the written feedbacks ready for Anil? Those who have given, can you just show me the sheets so we can collect it? This is a very important part of the Toastmasters because the speakers will benefit only when you give the feedback. So even if it is getting feedback, we do ensure that the feedbacks are passed on to the speakers. We come to our third speaker who is giving a landmark speech, which is called the Project 10 speech. The speaker is Ravi Chandran. May I request his partner to introduce Ravi? You can just say your name and then introduce. Yeah.
My name is Amrit Raj, and Ravi Chandran is living in Dubai for the last 10 years. And, he is working for a company called the Chandrai Investments, and he is working as a financial controller. And his role is very key and specialized field where he invests hundreds of millions of dollars for his company. And his family is in Dubai. He has got a son and a daughter. And he is giving P10 speech. And I wish him all the best.
I am also glad to share that Ravi did share his written speech with the mentors. So the speech has been evaluated by mentors, which is also a requirement on the part of the Toastmasters journey. That before you deliver the speech should go to the mentors, at least to one, if not more. Please welcome with big round of applause. Before that, may I request the evaluator to give the objectives of the speech. The speech is getting evaluated by Toastmaster Nimesh Lokhandwal.
Good evening. The objectives of D10 speech is to inspire the audience by appealing to the noble motives and challenging the audience to achieve a higher level of beliefs or achievement. An appeal to the audience needs emotions using stories, anecdotes and quotes to add drama. Avoid using notes. I repeat, to inspire the audience by appealing to noble motives and challenging the audience to achieve a higher level of beliefs or achievement. An appeal to the audience needs an emotion using stories, anecdotes and quotes to add drama. Avoid using notes. Time 8 to 10 minutes. Please note, time 8 to 10 minutes.
Welcome, Ravi Pataka. The speech title, Power of Grace. Power of Grace, Ravi.
Have you ever witnessed the power of grace? Anybody in this room? You can just raise your hands. Have you ever experienced the blessings and grace of an elderly people? Well, I did. Thanks for showing that. Good evening, Toastmasters of the day, my fellow Toastmasters and guests. Warm good evening to all of you.
Good evening.
I need to travel a few decades back to narrate a very touching incident in my life. Right from my young age, my mentor, my philosopher, my guide was none other than my grandfather. A man of humble nature, a man of simplicity, a man who by his sheer hard work and determination had rose from the rank of an ordinary clerk to the post of a chief controller of imports and exports. I always draw inspiration from him, and in a nutshell, I was very much closely attached to him. Still, I remember those days when I used to prepare for my CA intermediate examination. During those 2 months of preparatory time, he used to spend time with me, at least minimum 10 minutes of his time every day, inquiring about my preparation until he retires to bed. Life was continuing normal until I reached the first day of my examination. At around 7 in the morning, there was a loud noise and huge scream of my younger brother. Ravi, please come down fast! I came running downstairs and I was shocked to see my grandfather lying flat on the ground in his bedroom. He had a massive cardiac arrest and the whole house was in total chaos. By the time ambulance had arrived by then, and we were carrying him on the stretcher. While we were carrying him on the stretcher, I went close to him and said, "Granddad, everything will be fine, everything will be fine." In spite of his pain, my granddad held my hand and he said, "Ravi, please don't worry about me. You need to write your exam. That's my wish." By the time we admitted him in the hospital and the formalities got over, it was around 11. And my exam starts at 2 in the afternoon. I was in a state of shock. Mustering a lot of courage and recollecting his wish, I headed straight to the examination center and wrote my exam. I was shuttling between the hospital, the examination center and the house continuously for the next 5 days, and on the 6th day, his condition became really critical. That evening, he was declared dead. Next day morning, we are making all arrangements for his funeral proceedings. That day was really emotional for me. On that particular day, at around 12, when my grandfather's body was taken away towards crematorium, I was going in the opposite direction to write my exam. I managed to complete the auditing paper, but I had a sense of feeling that I did exceptionally well in the paper. Friends, at this point in time, I would like to share with you how powerful the grace of my grandfather was. On the day when the exam results were declared, I was walking towards the institute and a huge bunch of my friends came rushing towards me with a lot of excitement. They came and hugged me. I was wondering what's happening. Then the friends revealed, Ravi, you know what? You passed the intermediate examination with 28th rank. I stood there speechless. I was just wondering what's happening. And for a few moments, some extraordinary emotional feeling I was undergoing. To add icing on the cake, the paper what I wrote on the 7th day of my examination, that auditing paper, the day on which my grandfather was cremated, that paper was adjudged the best paper in auditing, and I was awarded the K.C. Khanna Prize and the Dinesh Himatlal Shah Prize for that paper. That's the power of grace, gentlemen. From that day onwards, I always had a separate space for my elderly people. Always treat them with due respect and seek their blessings. But at the same time, it's really painful to see the current generation of people treating the elderly people. Leave apart the elderly people, even their own parents for that matter. I have seen quite a lot of instances where children are abusing their parents. They are even insulting their parents and not even providing a basic primary health care. In extreme cases, I have seen even children getting their parents admitted to the old age home because they can't be able to take care of them. Why is this happening? This is all happening because of the change in the family structure in our society. In those days, we used to have a concept called joint family system, where all of us used to live together jointly under a single roof. But that concept has completely gone out of the system. And a new concept called nucleus family, or a small closed family concept, has evolved, which has led to the neglect of the aged people. This nucleus family, coupled with the attitude of the younger generation, has really led to the surge of this age-old homes. If you look at the statistics, the number of age-old homes run by NGOs have nearly doubled for the last 5 years in major metros. Today there was an interesting article in Gulf News which says that by 2030, the number of people crossing 60 plus will be a staggering 192 million in India. And with only 15% of the population covered under pension scheme, the situation looks very gloomy, as the streaks of grey hair is going to far outpace the strands of black hair in a receding hair fall. On looking at all this aged people, I started donating to this old age home generously, and I've been doing this for quite a few years. Normally, when I used to visit my hometown Chennai, I visit an NGO called Udavum Karangal, and I donate for this noble cause. Last year, I met the trustee of this NGO, and he was explaining a recent case. An elderly lady, 84 years old, had recently undergone a surgery for a throat cancer, and a only daughter, because of other commitments, she couldn't be able to take care of her. Having lost all hopes of living, she was ultimately found by a lawyer who got her admitted to this NGO. There are a lot of cases with similar background about the people who are living with NGO. When I met this elderly lady, and the moment the trustee was explaining to the elderly woman that I was one of the donors, the elderly lady caught hold of my hand and she said, "May God bless you, your family with long-lasting lives and bring joy and happiness." The moment she blessed me, I had some extraordinary feeling of joy and happiness. The same sort of feeling which I had few decades back. The few moments were really blissful, and I felt really blessed. I was almost in tears. Friends, it's high time we need to seek the blessings of our elders. Since life is a cycle, and we also need to undergo such phase in our life at a later stage. Keeping that in mind, we need to start taking action from now on. not the betterment of human society and for our own personal benefit. What is the action required? Well, all you need to do is that support your parents as much as possible. I know sitting overseas, it will be difficult for us to be with them physically all the time, but you need to stay connected with them emotionally. Number 2, educate your children about your future generation, about the power of grace and the blessings of elders, which I feel is generally lacking in the future generation. It's our responsibility to educate them. Thirdly, we need to donate generously to the old age home. And we need to, it's all the more important to visit those places, look at the ground reality, make sure that the amount is being spent for the intended cause. Once you start an act of charity, it should come as a choice rather than as a compulsion. When you tend to do as a choice, you will tend to enjoy what you do. And when it is fully completed, you will have a sense of fulfillment, and then you will start doing it automatically again and again. Now friends, I would request all of you to just show your hands like this. Yeah, please. We'll take a pledge, and I'll repeat the pledge. We, the generation of people, will support our elderly people, and educate our children, and donate the noble cause. Please put that. Over to you, Toastmasters.
This was a speech and speech. What I request, tell me 2 things what you liked about the speech. Please be open, and it's very important we give him a very harmonious cause. Pardon?
The topic to powerfully deliver the message.
Okay. 2 suggestions for improvement. Quick.
There's a lot of research which has gone into this, but there is a balance which has, the audience, when you hear the speech, you're completely involved into his story, right? You've gone to the depth of it. There is, at some point in time, a balance required. Bring the speech up to get the audience back to a smile. It's a difficult thing. It's a difficult thing, but there is a need to develop that aspect of your speech, which will then really make it a fantastic combination of taking an audience to the depth, bringing them back up with a smile, and close it up there. So you've done both the things. You played the comedian as well as the tragic hero. You've done both, Dilip Kumar and who should I say? Amitabh Bachchan.
A big round of applause for him. We still continue to give the written feedback. May I request the members to have a written feedback? 30 seconds. We are fortunate to have another inspiring speech, which is Speech and Speech from Toastmaster Firoz Sheikh. I have seen his P1 and the way he has taken this journey along. May I request his partner to introduce him? Give your name and name.
My name is Mahesh Agrawal. I would like to introduce my partner Firoz Sheikh. Firoz Sheikh is working in global food industry as finance and operations head. He is in Dubai for last 10 years. He is living with his family, his wife and 2 children. He believes in maintaining balance between work and pleasure. And he is attempting today his P10 speech. And what is most important is he is doing his P10, or he has reached up to P10 within 15 months. And his ambition or his goal for the Toastmaster is he wants to become a DT, that is District Toastmaster, in next 2 years.
A big round of applause for. May I request DTM Wilson Lewis to give the speech objectives once again?
Same, no?
It is the same. But do we repeat it for the
No,
same?
no.
Okay. Please welcome our speaker Firoz Sheikh with his speech titled Benefit of Joining Toastmasters. Benefit of joining Toastmasters.
Ralph Medley, founder of Toastmasters International, says, "Ours is the only organization I know dedicated to the individuals. We work together to bring out the best in each of us, and then we apply these skills to help others." Dear Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests, A warm good evening to all of you.
Good evening.
For the benefit of pillows, you want to have a break in the beginning. The patient break? Yeah. No problem. So we give a break. So we'll call our next speaker. This is going to be the advanced speech by Toastmaster Venkataraman. I can introduce him because I've seen him writing poems, so much philanthropy associated with the Indian Embassy. But may I request his partner to please introduce him.
Now, while everybody had an occasion to introduce an individual, I have the occasion and privilege to introduce an institution.
Education for all.
Well, what should I say? Venkataraman introduced himself to me. He shook his hand. He shook my hand warmly. He had this glitter in his eye, which told more about him than what his vocal cords could do. He introduced himself as a software man, but I said he also does software because he does many other things to that. Apart from writing and punning words, which he's mastered the art of, he's demonstrated his graciousness about elders and underprivileged people in this world in terms of doing what he does. He's an inspiration to us. He's an institution for us.
Thank you, Raza. The member, this is also a way to introduce our speakers, a very, very different way. A big round of applause for Raza. Before I call upon the speaker, may I request the evaluator Razak to give the objectives of the speech?
Toastmaster Venkat is going to talk about an entertaining speech, which is an advanced part of this panel. The objectives are simple. There are two objectives. One is to entertain the audience by relating a personal experience. And two is to organize an entertaining speech for maximum impact. And the time is the same, which is 5 to 7 minutes.
All the best to Venkat with the speech titled Expert Driver. Expert Driver.
We are all expert driver until our wife or mother or a child sits next to us as a co-passenger. Good evening, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. I always feel being on the podium is easier than driving. Here there is one evaluator who evaluates after a period of time. When you drive, if your wife is sitting next to you, it is a continuous evaluation. I have traveled to Kenya on a trip for a company with my wife and my son, who was 2-year-old in 1995. The company gave me a nice flat and a Nissan Sunny manual car to be self-driven. When I landed in the office, the first thing they said is that, Venkat, be careful on the road. It is very dangerous to drive. I looked at my colleague. I said, I am an expert driver with an international license. I should be able to drive. But there was fear in my heart. I said that better I take the company driver, Martin, along with me for commuting the city. Martin used to drive us every day. It was a Sunday, and I said to my wife that let us go for a long drive. And I asked Martin to come on the Sunday to take us to Tika, which is 50 kilometers from Nairobi. When Martin came with the car, the expert driver in me said, "Oh, I should take this chance. This is a Sunday and I can definitely drive." So I told Martin, I feel today I should drive. He said, "Why not, sir? Take this key." I sat in the car and I started the car. The car stopped. He said, "Give gas, give gas." I looked at him. "Martin, this is a petrol-driven car. How can I give gas?" So he showed me the accelerator and he said, "Give acceleration." Oh, I thought that acceleration is being called as gas. I started the car and moved slowly out of Westlands, where I used to stay, towards the highway. I started moving, giving gas to the car. Slowly my car started moving, and the highway is covered with trees on both the sides. It is a natural beauty to see. So I brought the windows pane down so natural air can come. It was early in the morning. We drove around 5 kilometers. Martin said, "Lovely, lovely. You are driving so well." I said, "I am from Mumbai, where driving is more difficult. There in the rainy season, there is potholes, and we have to go through the potholes. And the people who walk around and the auto rickshaws crossing." He smiled at me. "Sir, Kenya is more difficult." I said, "Nothing for an expert driver." And I took the car ahead, and suddenly my wife from behind shouted, "Venkat, you are driving at such a speed and not even looking at the onlooking cars which are coming. There's a lorry you would have almost hit the lorry." I said, "Don't worry, my geometry is very good. I won't touch the car." She smiled at me and said, "Your geometry may be good, but whether he can understand your geometry? If he hits you, what happens?"
There is an intersecting one.
I said, "Yes, life is precious." I started driving further with all happiness. Suddenly, there were black clouds. It appeared to be raining, and the visibility became poor. Suddenly, it started raining. I put on the wiper and I started driving like my Bombay days. Suddenly, Martin said, "Sir, enough of your driving. It is raining. It will become more difficult as we go up because the roads are zigzag and we will definitely get into a place where it will be trouble for all of us." I said, "Don't worry." I started driving. Suddenly, I saw some deer running, and the rain brought a lot of mud on the road. I put my brakes on. I saw Martin pulling the handbrake. I said, "Enough is enough. The safety of a family is more important." And to the next junction when we went, I asked Martin to take charge of the driving. And we drove to Tika, enjoyed the waterfalls, and we came back. My wife told, Venkat, you are an expert driver, but safety first. You all have to think that your family comes first more than your expert driving. So expert drivers, safety first. Safety first. Over to you.
Information because we drive in Dubai and we know how crucial it is, otherwise we have a fine. A big round of applause for Venkat. Can you have written feedback? 1 minute please. Can I know how many feedback we got? Written feedback? So why the feedback has not gone to Ravi for his speech so far? So this is again a question to the team. We welcome our speaker Firoz Sheikh, his speech and speech. Benefits of joining Toastmasters. Benefits of joining Toastmasters.
Wells Medley, founder of Toastmasters International, says, ours is the only organization I know dedicated to the individuals. We work together to bring out the best in each of us, and then we apply these skills to help others. Dear Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests, a warm good evening to all of you.
Good evening.
I can motivate you to do something only if I have done it myself. Otherwise, my speech will have no credibility. It will sound hollow and fail to inspire you. However, there is one achievement of mine that I can talk about with some credibility. Back in December 2010, I joined Toastmasters and delivered first 5 speech in 8 months. Then I dropped out as I was attempting for CPA and did not have time to prepare for my speeches. I restarted in May 2015 and today, after 7 months, I am delivering my P10. In 15 months, I have managed to deliver all 10 speech from the CC manual. I felt that was faster. But there is no great rocket science involved in this achievement. If I can do it, so can each one of you. A Toastmasters Club helps us to develop self-confidence and public speaking skills. But there are 3 essential things that you and only you can bring in as a Toastmaster. 1, desire to achieve. 2, hard work. 3, willingness to learn. You all understand how important public speaking skills are for your career and personal growth. You all have gathered here because you desire to improve upon it. But how strong is your desire? A man once asked Socrates, what is the secret to success? Socrates, instead of replying, caught hold of him by his neck, pushed his head under the water and held it there. The man struggled for breath, but Socrates did not release him. When the man was almost going to die, Socrates pulled him out of the water and asked him, what did you want the most when you were underwater? Air, the man replied. Socrates then said, if you want success as badly as you wanted air, you will get it. A burning desire is the starting point of your journey towards success. A small fire cannot give much heat. Likewise, a weak desire cannot produce great results. Therefore, I said to myself, come what may happen, I have to become a CC within 15 months. And I did it. Toastmasters, can you all cultivate such a strong desire?
Yes.
Can you all?
Yes.
Yes, you can. Can a strong desire alone lead you to success? No. You must sweat it out. According to Thomas Alva Edison, genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. You have to plan, prepare, and deliver the speech to the best of your ability. Remember, that's the promise you made when you joined Toastmasters. But in my experience, and with all other engagement like office work, studies, family commitments, it is a real challenge to keep up this promise. But as Epictetus, an ancient Greek philosopher, said, greater the difficulty, more glory in surmounting it. I scheduled the dates for all my 10 speech well in advance and tried my level best to meet the deadline. I spent most of my free time searching suitable topics and material for my speech. I wrote and rewrote each speech at least 5 times, improving upon it each time until I was fully satisfied. I used to record the speech and listen to them while commuting to work. A week before the meeting, I used to rehearse at least 4 times a day. It was not easy. But if you want to become a CC, there is no substitute to hard work. I worked hard to internalize the speech so that I could deliver it with ease. Toastmasters, can you all work hard too?
Yes.
Yes, you can. Your hard work and your desire for success must be supported by your willingness to learn. There was a woodcutter who used to cut 2 trees every day. He used to work very hard. Then one day, someone advised him to spend some time in sharpening his axe. Following the advice, the woodcutter was now able to cut 4 trees every day. So, sharpen your speaking skills by being open enough to learn from every Toastmaster, especially your mentor and speech evaluator. There is no end to learning. However good you are, there is always a scope for improvement. Even before joining Toastmasters, I was an experienced speaker. I had made presentations in office, conducted several training programs, and these were well appreciated by the audience. But I felt I still had a long way to go. I joined Toastmasters with the mindset of a beginner and with a sense of humility. I got all my speech reviewed by my mentor and incorporated his feedback. In fact, I had prepared something else for my project and speech, but on my mentor's advice, I willingly changed the topic and started all over again. I thankfully accepted the constructive criticism from my speech evaluator and tried my best to improve on the areas suggested by them. This helped me a lot in preparing and delivering the speech. It also helped me during presentations at my work. It was only because I had an attitude of disciplined student and was willing to learn. Toastmasters, can you all commit to learn?